All right, people, this weekend we have a double header of boxing. We have Matchroom, we also have Boxer. Now, I'll talk about the Boxer card in a separate video, but we got to talk right here about the Surgeon, Ben Whittaker. This is his debut under Matchroom. Now, Ben Whittaker is going into his 11th pro fight, and it's fair to say that the opposition he's fought up until this point, even with Liam Cameron, because Liam Cameron, I'll give you an example, right? We saw a couple of weeks ago Zach Parker versus Joshua Buatsi. We saw Bradley Ree versus Lyndon Arthur. With respect, would Liam Cameron really be able to hang with those guys? Probably not. Excuse me, probably not. Now that's the best win. That's the best win on Ben Whittaker's resume. And it's after a torrid first fight and a fairly resounding second fight, it has to be said. But nevertheless, it was still a horrible first fight. And really, Ben Whittaker's form, we're talking about Ben Whittaker, and I know Eddie Hearn will hype him up to high heavens. That's his job as a promoter. But we look at that Liam Cameron fight, which happened way back in April, mind you, so it's a while out of the ring. And, we say, okay, he looked a lot better. It was a much better performance than the first fight. Hard to get a lot worse, to be honest with you. But he was able to close the show in resounding style. He's now trained by Andy Lee, and that's all well and good. But prior to that, he had that fight against Leon Willings. And he had that fight, I think that was on the undercard of Fraser Clark versus Fabio Wardley, which we'll talk about Fraser Clark now in a wee bit. And then he had that fight against that Ezra Arnica guy. And again, although he won the fight handily, he didn't really, set the world alight, especially in neither of those fights. And then obviously he goes from those two into the Liam Cameron fight, and you're thinking, okie dokie, well, you were very lucky to get the nod that night, and had that incident, we'll call it that, not happened, if it had gone the full 10 rounds, and then obviously there was issues with the last fight, was it 10, was it 12? This fight right here is a 10 rounder. So it's not the full 12 against this Benjamin Gavas guy. So Ben Whittaker has a lot I think Ben Whittaker has a lot that he has to show. Because Ben Whittaker did that, intro video, that trailer with Matchroom, him and Eddie Hearn, that scene from the Jerry Maguire movie with Tom Cruise, show me the money. No, Ben. No. Don't be showing me the money. Show me something. That's better. Eddie Hearn can show you the money, but you, who, we're hearing all these superlatives, you're going to be this, you're going to be that, you're going to be all these things. So show me something. Now he's going in there with a guy who, let's be frank, when he was announced as his debut opponent for Matchroom, you were looking and you were kind of thinking, okay, a German light heavyweight, 19-1. That doesn't sound terrible on paper. He lost his pro debut, by the way. But you look at his resume, and none of these fights, apart from two, are outside of Germany. One of them was in Bosnia, I think the flag that is. No idea where that one is. But essentially he's been in Germany or in East Europe. So he's not gone abroad or anything like that. And you look at the resume, and there's really no names on here to speak of. So you're looking at this and you're thinking, well, how good is he? Now, there are some revelations. They maybe have one loss in their record from a long time ago, as this guy obviously does. They may have not fought really anybody, but they turn out to be revelations on fight night. They are few and far between, it has to be said. And a fighter who fought over the weekend, Anthony Yard, he has made a habit of fighting guys with similar records like this, where you look at the record and you say, well, on paper it doesn't look too bad. He's fighting a guy who only has one defeat, but at the end of the day, who is he fighting? And you could say the same about Ben Whittaker, you say the same about Anthony Yard, fair enough. Then you see them in the ring on fight night, and you're like, oh, who exactly were those 19 guys he fought and won? Because I'm pretty sure there were some one-handed guys who could probably beat these guys if he beat them. That, I suspect, is going to be the opponent we have for Ben Whittaker this coming Saturday night. Oh, and by the way, I will be doing a live watch-along for that as well, because the rest of the undercard doesn't look too bad. You've got Zelfa Barrett versus Liam Dillon. That'd be a decent scrap. You've got Carmine Vegu, I think is how you say his name, against Gavin Gwynn. He normally always comes to fight. Aaron Brown versus Tom Coolan. So it's not actually a bad card. Molly McCann on there as well. It's not actually a bad card, to be fair. But it's headlined by Ben Whittaker. Again, we are being sold this whole thing that, Ben Whittaker is going to be all these things. He's going to be this, that, and the other. And I know some people have said, well, hang on a minute. Moses Atauma was sold as being, all these things and more. And yet, when he fights the likes of, what's that guy's name, Mike Balogan, when he fights the likes of Dylan White, a shot to bits Dylan White, people like myself aren't as critical. Well, for one, Moses Atauma is 20 years old. He's going on 21 now after Christmas. And he's going in there against a Jermaine Franklin, who is a solid fringe world level opponent, maybe just shy of that, but, a solid opponent, right? That's a 21-year-old. Ben Whittaker's pushing 30. How old is he? Because he's got to be about 28 years old. So as a light heavyweight, and listen, he's 6 years younger than Anthony Yarde, right? He's an Olympic silver medalist. And when I say 6 years younger, Yarde looks to me like he's on the decline. He's looking like a shop-born fighter. People, 6 years is not a long time. Joshua Buatsi was an Olympic bronze medalist, right? He turned pro 2017. He's never had a world title shot. So, and he turned pro, I think, a lot younger than Ben Whittaker did. So you see what I mean here. So you kind of want to get a move on with Ben Whittaker. And you want to hype him up to high heaven and say he's all these things and more. Could we seriously have not got... Because this is a step down, in my opinion, from the Liam Camerons of the world. In my opinion. It could, again, revelation on Fight Night could be... But I think Ben Whittaker is due a good performance because, again, the Liam Cameron fight was quite a while ago. It was in April. And that was obviously with Boxer. They were trying to get some more dates. It became apparent that wasn't going to happen. But Ben Whittaker, I think, for me, really does need to show something in this fight. Never mind to show me the money. As I said at the start of this video, show me something. That's really what I want to be seeing from Ben Whittaker. And I say that because there's a lot of comparisons being drawn between Ben Whittaker and Josh Kelly. Obviously, they're not the same weight, but Josh Kelly, when he turned pro, he was obviously an Eddie Hearn fighter. I was back when he was on the Sky Days. And Josh Kelly had that kind of flashy style, the hands down, move the head, very much, the real flashy, it was easy to get highlight reel clips of him. And the highlight reel clips did very well. I remember it was at Boxing Legends TV, they had a field day with Josh Kelly and the videos did very good numbers. But when you looked at Josh Kelly, you saw very athletic, but it's definitely the quintessential style over substance. That's really what it is with Kelly. And subsequently, that was what happened. Because Josh Kelly, Ishmael Davis, who fought on 7 days' notice, nearly had him out of there in the last round. Now, personally for me, I think that Ben Whittaker, when everything clicks, his ceiling is high. His ceiling is higher than Josh Kelly. I think he can do good things in the sport. I think that once he gets past a fight like this, I think there's opportunities there to maybe look at the likes of a Zach Parker. Maybe look at the likes of a Bradley Ray. I think those kind of levels, because, you're talking domestic level / European level. Bradley Ray was a European champion. So I think that a good performance here, working with Andy Lee, so I'm hoping that, now that he's had 2 full counts with him now, we can really hopefully see something from Ben Whittaker. And that he puts in a performance that I think makes us all stand up and take notes. Because I think there is still... And listen, Ben Whittaker... Certainly after the first Liam Cameron fight, he didn't really... Well, I guess Ben Whittaker never really endeared himself that much to the British public. He always came across, and I said that before he even turned pro, that he'd be one of these kind of pantomime villains you're going to love to hate, because he is quite arrogant. He is quite a... he's a flashy guy, but probably in and outside the ring, And I thought that people would maybe not take to him, but they'd watch him anyway. I think in fights like the Leon Willens fight, when... he's basically telling his corner, stop talking, this, that, and the other, and just being, quite frankly, disrespectful. Turned some people off him as well. His conduct post-fight with Liam Cameron the first time. Yeah, again, not good. But since then, he's obviously calmed it down a little bit. And, yeah, I think the Liam Cameron fight was decent, but he needs to follow up with that. And, again, I just worry about the bit of inactivity, especially for a young fighter who's in, I say young fighter, a young prospect, who's not had that many fights. You want to just see them as active as they can conceivably be. So those are my only kind of real fears for Ben Whittaker. I don't expect him to lose this fight at all. I think the card's not bad. As I said, we'll do a watch-along for it on Saturday night. But I definitely want to see just that little bit more from Ben Whittaker. If we're going to get... Again, when we see fighters or promoters who make new signings, we very seldom see them roll out the red carpet like they did for Ben Whittaker. Press conference, highlight reel videos, trailers. You're like, he's only 11-0 or 11-1 or 11-1. What am I saying? He's only into his 11th fight. He's only 9-1 draw. So all that hype, you got to show me something. And we know Eddie Hearn will win. He most likely will. Eddie Hearn is going to hype Ben Whittaker to high heaven. Of course, it's his job. That was a promoter. But I really hope we see something that little bit more. I don't want Ben Whittaker to be showing me the money. I want him to be showing me something. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section below. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you could, people, as always, hit the like button, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. Until next time, people, I will leave it there. I'm actually going home tomorrow. Well, actually, by the time this video goes up, it'll be tomorrow. I'm actually going home tomorrow morning. Flight's early in the morning, like 7 a.m. So for the weekend, it will be the old setup. The old setup, back in Dublin for a couple of days. Badly needed. Need to get home and see some friends and family. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you could, smash the like button, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. People, until next time. Peace.